My daughter proudly invited me to see her brand new house. But just hours before, my lawyer called me and told me a terrible truth that shattered everything. That phone call changed the way I looked at my daughter forever. My name is Edward. I'm 65 years old, and for most of my life, I believed in hard work, honesty, and family above everything else. I wasn't a perfect man, but I gave everything I had for my daughter, Jessica. I raised her alone after her mother passed away when Jessica was just a teenager. Every sacrifice I made, every extra shift at work, every holiday spent exhausted, was for her future. I never thought the same little girl whose hand I once held while she crossed the street would one day become the very source of my deepest heartbreak. Before I take you deeper into my story, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next. When Jessica was small, she used to cling to me like I was her whole world. She'd wait by the window when I came home from work, her tiny hands clapping, her little voice screaming, "Daddy's home!" Those were the moments I lived for. But time changes people. After she grew up, especially after she married Jason, something inside Jessica shifted. Jason came from a wealthy family. His father was a businessman with money and connections, and Jessica admired that lifestyle. Soon, she began comparing me to Jason's family. I could sense her pride fading when she looked at me. Where once she saw her hero, she now saw a man with calloused hands, simple clothes, and not much wealth. She wanted more than I could give Dot at first. I ignored the subtle remarks. Jessica would say things like, "Dad, Jason's father is taking us to the country club. Maybe you can join sometime." "Oh, wait, they have a dress code." She'd laugh it off, but each little comment cut me deeper. Over time, I started seeing her less and less. Birthdays became short phone calls. Holidays turned into polite excuses. Eventually, I was just Dad, not the man she admired, but a reminder of what she considered an ordinary, even embarrassing, background. Jason didn't help either. He was smooth-talking, arrogant, and always found a way to remind me of my shortcomings. "Edward, you should really consider selling your old place," he'd say. "It's too small, too outdated. Jessica deserves better." I knew what he meant. To them, I wasn't enough. Then one afternoon, Jessica called. Her tone was unusually cheerful. "Dad, I've got exciting news," she said. "Jason and I just bought a new house. It's huge, it's beautiful. You need to come see it. We're having a little gathering this weekend, and it would mean a lot if you came." For a moment, I was stunned. It had been months since she last called me, and now suddenly she was eager for me to visit. Still, my heart softened. No matter how cold she had been, I still loved her. I thought maybe, just maybe, this was a turning point. Maybe my daughter was reaching back for me. I told her I'd be there. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept imagining her smiling face, showing me around her new home. I thought of how proud I'd be to see her success, to know she was living well. In my heart, I prayed that this gathering wasn't about wealth or appearances, but about reconnecting as a family. I wanted so badly to believe that my daughter still cared for me. But then, just hours before I was supposed to leave for Jessica's new house, my phone buzzed. It was a text from my lawyer, Mr. Harris. The message was short but urgent. "Edward, call me immediately. It's about Jessica." My stomach dropped. What could it possibly be? Why would my lawyer be messaging me about my daughter? My hands trembled as I dialed his number, my heart pounding in my chest. On the other end, Mr. Harris's voice was grave, almost hesitant. "Edward," he said, "I've uncovered something. Something you need to know before you step into that house today." I froze, my mouth dry. And in that instant, I realized This visit wasn't going to be the joyful reunion I had hoped for. It was about to become the most painful confrontation of my life. Edward. Mr. Harris's voice was low, steady, but heavy with concern. I need you to listen carefully. What I'm about to tell you, it isn't easy. My grip on the phone tightened. My heart raced. Just tell me, Harris. What's going on? There was a pause, the kind that makes your stomach twist. Then he said it. The house Jessica invited you to see? It wasn't bought with Jason's money. It wasn't even fully theirs. It was bought using your name, your assets, without your knowledge. I felt the blood drain from my face. What? That's impossible. I never signed anything. That's just it, he replied. They forged your signature. They used documents you once trusted Jessica, with power of attorney papers you signed years ago when she said she was helping you manage some medical bills. She and Jason used those to secure a loan. Your assets are tied to this house, Edward. If they default, you lose everything. The room around me seemed to spin. My breath came shallow. No, Jessica wouldn't do this. She's my daughter. Mr. Harris's voice softened, but the truth didn't. Edward, I wish I could tell you otherwise. But the paperwork doesn't lie. I've seen cases like this. I'm sorry. I hung up the phone and just sat there in silence, my hands trembling. The lawyer's words echoed in my mind like thunder. Forged your signature, tied to your assets. Lose everything. I thought of Jessica as a little girl again. The way she used to curl up beside me during thunderstorms, whispering, Daddy, don't leave me. I thought of how I'd promised her I never would, and now she had abandoned me. Worse, she had betrayed me. The memories played like cruel flashbacks, selling my wife's jewelry to pay for Jessica's college, working double shifts just to afford her first car, sitting in the rain for hours, just to watch her basketball games. Every sacrifice I made suddenly felt like a knife twisted into my back. I wanted to scream. I wanted to march over there and confront her, demand answers, demand justice. But another part of me, the father in me, still hoped there was some mistake. So I made a choice. I called Mr. Harris back. Do whatever you need to protect what's left, secure my accounts, put safeguards in place. But don't tell Jessica yet. Not until I see her face to face. He agreed. I'll prepare the legal documents. Be careful, Edward. They may act like family, but they're not thinking like family. The next day, I forced myself to get ready. I put on my best shirt, polished my old shoes, and stared into the mirror. The man looking back at me didn't feel like a father anymore. He felt like a fool. Still, I drove to Jessica's new house. The neighborhood was fancy, filled with perfectly trimmed lawns and expensive cars. Their dream house stood tall, decorated with balloons and a banner that read, Welcome Home. As I walked up the driveway, Jessica ran out to greet me. Her face glowed with pride. Dad, you made it. She hugged me tightly, like nothing was wrong. My throat burned. I wanted to push her away, but instead I let her hold me. I couldn't reveal what I knew. Not yet. Jason appeared next, smirking like a king showing off his castle. Edward, what do you think? Not bad, huh? Your daughter deserves the best. My jaw clenched. My daughter deserves the best? Or, you mean you deserve the best with? My money. Inside, the house sparkled with luxury. Marble counters, golden fixtures, giant chandeliers. Neighbors and friends crowded around, congratulating Jessica and Jason like they'd built the place with their bare hands. Jessica held my arm, parading me through each room. Dad, this is the living room. Can you believe it? I always dreamed of having a fireplace like this. Jason chimed in, laughing. Not like the little one in your old house, huh, Edward? This is the real deal. The guests chuckled. My heart sank. Jessica nodded proudly. We worked so hard for this, Dad. Jason made smart investments, and well, we just knew it was time to live the way we deserve. I forced a smile, swallowing the bitter truth I carried. As they showed me the upstairs bedrooms, my mind drifted back to Jessica's childhood room in our old house. The pink curtains, the drawings taped to the wall, the nights I'd stay awake sewing patches on her school uniforms because I couldn't afford new ones. That house wasn't big. It wasn't glamorous. But it was full of love. And now, standing in this mansion built on lies, I realized love had been replaced with greed. That evening, everyone gathered around a long dining table. Crystal glasses, polished silverware. Everything screamed wealth. Jessica sat at the head, Jason beside her, while I was seated at the far end. Between bites of expensive steak, Jason raised his glass to new beginnings and to the future we've built. Everyone cheered. I stayed silent, staring at the wine swirling in my glass. Jessica leaned toward me, her eyes sparkling. Dad, aren't you proud of us? This is the kind of life you always wanted for me, right? I forced a nod. Yes, Jessica. I'm proud, but inside, my heart screamed. No, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted you to have happiness, not stolen wealth. I wanted you to have integrity, not lies. All night, I pretended. I smiled when they showed me the backyard pool. I clapped when Jason bragged about his business ventures. I even took pictures with them, standing in front of a house that legally belonged to me, though they didn't know I knew that yet. But inside, a storm was brewing. As I drove home later, Mr. Harris called again. Edward, the paperwork is ready. We can expose them any time you decide. But it's your choice how and when. I gripped the steering wheel tighter. No, not yet. I'll confront them on my terms. They invited me here as their guest. They don't know they invited me as their judge. That night, I sat in my living room, staring at old family photos. Jessica's smile as a child, her graduation day, her wedding. Each picture felt like a ghost haunting me. But one thing was clear now. I couldn't let this betrayal go unpunished. The night before I confronted them, I barely slept. Mr. Harris had sent me copies of all the forged documents. My signature. Copied, clumsy, but legal enough to trick the bank. Jason's name appeared beside Jessica's. I sat there with the papers in my lap, staring at the betrayal written in ink. Every line screamed, "They used you, Edward. They stole from you. By sunrise, my decision was clear. No more silence. Jessica called me again, cheerful as ever. Dad, why don't you come back for dinner tonight? We want you to feel like this. House is your home, too." My lips curled into a bitter smile. Yes, Jessica, I'll be there. But this time, I wasn't coming as a guest. I was coming with the truth. That evening, I walked into the house holding a folder under my arm. The same house they thought they had stolen. Jessica ran to hug me. Jason, glass of wine in hand, smirked like a man who believed he had already won. Friends and neighbors were there again, gathered around for another celebration. Jason raised his voice. Edward, just in time. We were about to toast again. To family. I looked around the table, then placed the folder down in the center. The room grew quiet. Before we toast, I said slowly, I have something to say. Jessica tilted her head, confused. Dad, what's wrong? I opened the folder and slid out the first document. Do you recognize this, Jessica? This is a loan application. It has my name, my signature, except I never signed it. Gasps echoed around the room. Jason's smirk faltered. I pulled out another sheet. Here's the deed. Again my name, my assets, used without my knowledge. I turned toward Jason, my voice rising. Do you know what that's called? Fraud, theft, betrayal. Jason stammered. Edward, you don't understand. I slammed my hand on the table. Don't you dare. I understand perfectly. You and Jessica used the trust I gave her to steal from me. You forged my name. You tied this house to my future. And you thought I'd never find out. Jessica's eyes widened, tears forming. Dad, wait, I can explain. Jason said it was safe. He said it was temporary, just paperwork. I didn't mean. I cut her off. Didn't mean what? Didn't mean to ruin me? Didn't mean to spit on every sacrifice I made for you? Jessica, I sold my dreams so you could chase yours. I worked myself to the bone so you could stand tall. And this is what you do? You stab. Me in the back? Her hands trembled. Dad, please. I shook my head, my voice breaking. No, the little girl I raised would never do this. I don't know who you are anymore. Jason tried to regain control, sneering. All right, fine. Maybe we used your name. But look around, Edward. Look at this house, this success. None of this would have happened if you kept living your pathetic, small life. Jessica deserves better, and I gave it to her. The room turned cold. Neighbors whispered. Jessica buried her face in her hands. I straightened my back, my anger sharpening into steel. You didn't give her anything, Jason. You stole it. And let me tell you something. This house doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to Jessica. Legally, it belongs to me. Jason's face drained of color. What? What are you talking about? I pulled out the final document. Mr. Harris filed an injunction this morning. The deed has been frozen. The court recognizes me as the rightful owner until the case is resolved, which means, Jason, you're standing in my house. Gasps filled the air. Jason leapt to his feet, shouting, You can't do this. This is our home. I leaned forward, my voice low but firm. No, Jason, this was built on lies. And lies don't build homes. They build prisons. If you want to test me, I'll make sure that's exactly where you end up. Jason's hands shook. Jessica sobbed openly now. Dad, please. I didn't want this to happen. I just wanted a better life. I looked at her, my heart torn in two. Jessica, a better life built on lies is no life at all. You chose greed over family, and tonight you lost both. I gathered the papers, stood tall, and looked around at the stunned crowd. Let this be a lesson. Betrayal never wins. Family is supposed to protect each other, not destroy each other. And when trust is broken, there's always a price to pay. Without another word, I walked out of the house, my house, leaving Jessica and Jason in stunned silence. As I drove away, the weight on my chest felt both heavier and lighter. Heavier because I had lost my daughter to greed. Lighter because I had reclaimed my dignity, my future, my life. The road stretched ahead, dark but clear. I whispered to myself, I may have lost her, but I didn't lose myself. Justice isn't always sweet, but it's always right. And with that, I knew one thing for certain. Jessica and Jason's empire of lies had crumbled, and my revenge was complete. Now, it's your turn. What do you think? Is respect worth more than money? Tell me in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because the next story is even more shocking, more emotional, and you definitely won't want to miss it.